as someone who picked the female traveler Lumine in Genshin Impact and the female trailblazer Stelle in Honkai Star Rail, I'm going to be picking the male proxy Wise over the female proxy Belle in Zenless Zone Zero. So, if you are like me and struggling to pick between Wise and Belle, then here are a few things to consider, both preferential and scientific reasons to pick one or the other. It was kind of a hard decision. In fact, I actually made 2 alt accounts and played all the way to the open world where I could run around with both Belle and Wise before I made the final decision for my main account. Now before we start, I'll just give the usual disclaimer for these types of videos. If you already like one of the characters, if you already have a clear preference, then don't pay any attention to what I or anyone else says. Just pick the character you like or you will regret it down the line. However, if you are on the fence, or if you just want more information before you make your choice, then this video is for you. So let me give you a few factors to consider, both preference-based and mathematical, to help you make your decision between Belle and Wise. Factor number 1. Whichever character you don't pick will end up getting more voice lines than the one that you do. So for those of you who played miHoYo's other games like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail, one key difference in Zenless Zone Zero is that the main characters, both of them, are fully voiced, thank God. And not only that, but whichever one you don't pick will actually stick around as an NPC, rather than just going away like they do in Genshin or Star Rail. So the nice thing about that is, since you're always going to be seeing both of them and occasionally playing the other one, then there isn't really as strong of a sense of regret in case you make the wrong choice. But of course it's better to just not make the wrong choice in the first place, right? That's why you're watching this video. Now, like I said, whatever character you don't pick will end up having more dialogue lines. So I know it's a little bit counterintuitive, but what that means is that whoever you want to hear more of, right, whoever's voice you like more, then you should actually pick the other one. So in my case, I personally liked Belle's voice a little bit more than Wise's. That's why I picked him to be my main character, that way she can have more lines and be an NPC. So for those of you who are curious, I'll just play a few short clips of Wise and Belle talking in all 4 of the languages.
Hello, Nicole. It'd be nice of you to knock next time.
I feel like I hear of your urgent needs at least 3 times a month, Nicole.
니콜 안녕. 다음엔 정상적으로 녹화한 뒤에 들어와 줄래?
니콜의 일생일대의 부탁이라는 소리는 왜 한 달에 최소 3번 이상씩은 듣는 것 같을까?
你好啊，尼克。下次如果能正常敲门进来，就更好了。
总觉得每个月至少能听到3次啊，尼克你一生的请求。
こんにちは、ニコ。次はちゃんとノックしてから入ってきてくれると助かるな。
月に3回は聞くよね。ニコの一生のお願い。
Factor number 2 is that you can somewhat control the personality of the character that you pick. So by default, right, as NPCs, Wise is more of a serious, no-nonsense, down-to-earth personality, and then Belle is more of a fun and funny, playful troll. So whichever of those 2 personalities that you like more, it might be better to leave them as an NPC and pick the other one to actually be your character. So me, for example, I like Belle's personality a bit more, so that's part of why I picked Wise. That way I can kind of make him give the, sarcastic or funny or trolly responses in dialogue options, and then Belle is already like that by herself. And of course, if you're the other way around and you like Wise's personality a bit more, then that might be a reason to pick Belle as the one that you play. Factor number 3. So I will admit that this is more of a personal preference, but I think the way that Belle walks and runs is really weird. So as you can see, she kind of swings her arms way out to the side and they end up looking like wet noodles. Now, I do get why miHoYo does this. They want to save on storage space, they want to use the same model for as many characters as possible. I mean, it is a mobile game at the end of the day. And if there's a female character that has like a big dress or skirt, then her arms can end up clipping through it when she runs. So they just make her swing her arms way out there. Of course, the problem then is that if a character doesn't have a big dress or skirt, right, like Belle, then it just ends up looking really weird. And what makes this an especially big issue is that, unlike in Genshin or Star Rail, where you have a whole party of characters to pick from, in Zenless Zone Zero you can't use the agents to walk around town. You can't use them to explore the world. You are basically stuck with the main character, whichever one you pick, and that means you are stuck with the main character's running animation. And since I don't really like Belle's running animation, then that was just one more reason that I picked Wise over her. Of course, if you do like the way that Belle runs, right, like an anime schoolgirl, or actually I think maybe she is. Is she? Is there school in New Eridu? Actually, I think there is school because I've seen people like with backpacks. Anyway, if you do like that kind of exaggerated anime schoolgirl run, then make sure you pick Belle because you're going to be seeing that all day long. Factor number 4, and here is the scientific/mathematical run. So in Zenless Zone Zero, Wise actually runs a little bit faster than Belle. Now at first you might think, okay, so what, no big deal. I mean, they did the same thing in Genshin Impact where the characters ran at different speeds based on their height and gender and all that, and that was literally their biggest and most successful game. Interesting tidbit, by the way, the female characters in Genshin actually swim faster than the male ones, so they're not actually worse for exploration. In fact, I would say tall female characters are probably the best overall, since they run pretty fast and they also swim the fastest. Whereas tall male characters, they run the fastest, but they actually swim painfully slow. Anyway, let me digress. The point is that you have a whole roster of characters. You can literally pick any character you want to explore the world and run around. Whereas in Zenless Zone Zero, you can't use the agents to do that, so you are, again, stuck with just the main character. So in my opinion, they really should have taken the Star Rail approach. If you guys remember, in Star Rail, every character, like literally every playable character, runs at the exact same speed. So that's actually why Bailu, or any other short character, right, Clara, they all look like they run super fast. It's because they have to actually move at the same speed as tall dudes like Blade, even though they're much shorter and smaller. Now fortunately, it's not a huge difference. Like you guys saw, Wise could run down the street in 13 seconds, and Belle took just 13.6. So that's like a difference of 5%, actually I think even less than 5%. But regardless, you are kind of punishing Belle mains for, in my opinion, no good reason. Now since I picked Wise, this doesn't really negatively impact me. In fact, from a certain perspective, you can say it's advantageous to us Wise mains. But I still do feel for all of you Belle mains out there, and I do sincerely hope that MiHoYo releases some kind of patch in the future to have Belle and Wise run at the same speed. Hopefully by buffing Belle's run speed and not by nerfing Wise. Factor number 5. The character that you pick is going to be the one that appears in the cutscenes. Now, I do think that Belle looks better than Wise. You know, a lot of people say she's cute, and I do agree, but after I thought about it, I realized, okay, you know, if I really wanted to see Belle in a cutscene, I can just look it up online, or I'll just use my alt account, right? For these kinds of games. I usually have an alt account just to be able to try out new characters that I think I might like, but I don't want to spend the currency on. So for that account, I will obviously choose Belle, just to get the full picture and kind of experience the story from both sides. But for my main account, which I'm obviously going to be playing more often, I think all the other stuff added together is going to be more important at the end of the day. So being able to hear Belle more often, being able to control Wise's personality while I already like Belle's default personality, being able to run faster, not having to see that really weird run animation Belle has, and of course, if I wanted to see cutscenes, I'll just go on my alts, right? So even though for me this one was more in favor of Belle, I still decided the other stuff was more important. Of course, if you guys really care about seeing your favorite character in the cutscene, then obviously pick that character. And last but not least, the bonus factor for those of you who use JP Audio. Yep, that's right. If you want to hear Belle say more often, then make sure you pick Wise like I did. And look, I swear guys, I picked Wise because he runs faster and that's like more efficient, you know, it's totally not because... So those are all the factors that I could come up with, but if you guys think of any reasons to pick Belle or Wise, one over the other, then make sure you write them in the comment section to help out anyone else who watches this video. And of course, remember to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and give the video a thumbs up to help me out. With that, I hope all of you proxies have fun on your journeys in New Eridu.